Hello ladies and gents, welcome back to Inside My Head, and welcome back to, I need to adjust my webcam, is it better? A bit. Alright, I managed to find a dude with 2300, so I'm hoping that this will be some meaningful business and action happening, and I can actually talk about some cool strategies again. So, this guy is playing the Philidor, and I normally do play the Philidor main line, but I want to try out a line because I want to show you a strategy that works really well against both the Philidor and the Pirc if it's played well. It's a very offbeat opening that I very rarely recommend, and normally I don't really like the idea of playing offbeat openings. I'm a dude for main lines, but this one is definitely one that has been causing a lot of headache to even way higher rated players than I am. And I scored a lot of very easy victories with this variation, which actually starts off with this very strange looking h3 move, which if you were my student and you played it, I would have a very mad go at you for. But that's just how I am and how unfair I am. So the point of this whole h3 business is that I want to play an early g4, which is more than likely they will take it as a sign of aggression, wanting to play g5, but not really. The case actually is that I just want to play bishop g2, solidifying e4 as best as I can. I'm gonna castle. I will put my bishop here, my knight here. And the whole entire concept of this variation is that the only way for black to break out in this position is to play for d5. And having played g4, always hinting g5, and having played bishop g2 and knight c3, I'm very firmly in charge of what's happening on d5. Normally the other way for for black to play this whole entire line is to take on d4 and play against the e4 pawn. Normally in that case my bishop would be on c4 or on this diagonal, and so that would be a sound plan. However, in this case, anytime they take, and this is a very important aspect of this line which I didn't quite understand for a long while until I spent a solid 5 minutes on it to figure out the ins and outs of it, you actually take back with the bishop. And it's a brilliant recapture because the bishop actually stands really well on d4, can't be contested by either of the knights, and the knight goes to g3, once again covering this, threatening to jump in at any time, and then further support on the center by means of queen d2 and rook e1 will guarantee a very solid position for white, where I will have all the time in the world to figure out how I'm going to crash my opponent on the king's side. Very easy to play, very basic moves really, not a lot of deviation black can do, and almost exclusively whenever I play this line I end up with a massive time advantage on the clock. Because roughly this is the point where black goes like, what am I actually playing for here? It's very difficult to develop the bishop, the center really can't be contested for said reasons, and so black goes like, what am I doing here? What am I playing for? And white's play is just like, I'm just playing my moves. Queen d2, rook across, knight here, f4, GG. Super easy stuff really. And yeah, black side of the business is just very complicated and tricky. Sometimes they try to drop a bishop onto c4, but even that just doesn't do a thing. Just kick it out with b3. And I don't even have to allow it, but it's not like I need to stop it. See, rook e8, ultimate sign of confusion. f4, guaranteed he's going to take and drop back to f8. But he will be very surprised when I'm on take. I will play bishop takes, and after bishop f8, well, after bishop f8 I can already take on f6 if I want to. But the point is that knight g3 is coming, so that's the point when they go like, okay, I didn't see that coming. And after knight g3 they will be utterly out of plans. And knight g3 always takes away the other very good effect of knight g3 is that it takes away the h5 square from the knight, so after g5 he has to retreat. And again, black sometimes regroups the knight like this, and again the two black knights after rook g3, rook e1 do absolutely nothing. It's quite comical actually to see how in positional terms how well they are placed on squares where they can't be hurt, and yet they do nothing at all. because due to the very, very unique nature of the pawn structure, the actual main battlefield in this game is going to be the king side and the center, and nothing is gonna happen on the queen side, and these two knights have got no influence whatsoever on what's happening on the king side, and very, very limited influence on what's happening here. And so more often than not you find that they eventually break up with d5. Now I don't know if I played it quite accurately or not on the previous moves, like it may have been more accurate to start with knight g3 or rook e1, I don't know. But normally what happens is that when d5 hits, I can choose between a timely e5, or I can just take knight takes, knight takes, knight takes, bishop takes, pawn takes, and play that isolated pawn structure where my king is a little bit loose, but the pawn on d5 is a constant weakness. Now, because of I prefer to play dynamic chess over static one, my go is always e5. And after knight d7, which is 100% inevitable, I have got two choices now. He obviously wants to come at me with c5, right? But that comes with lots and lots and lots of positional concessions. b5 is weakened, d5 is weakened, and so on. So I've got two choices now. One, ignore this threat, 100% ignore it, and just continue with my plan knight g3, rook e1, or drop back to f2, and thereby denying c5 for the rest of the game. And to be honest, I'm rather torn between between the two, because both of them seem to me to be very appealing. The only reason why I want to drop back right away, because I really enjoy it when I don't give chances to my opponent. And it just strikes me as a move that would annoy my opponent a great deal. Because as long as I leave it here, c5, d4 is an obvious and easy plan to play. I don't know. I'm very tempted both ways, really. Because the other thing is that after something like knight g3, c5, bishop f2, d4, I have knight b5, and after queen goes wherevs, I have c3, and I will blast that center open. Yeah, I can leave it c5. Bring it on, baby. Bring it on. I want to play rook e1, and then I would love to play eventually for f5. Difficult to pull off, because then c5 and this one might become a little bit loose, so that will require very thorough and accurate calculation when we get there, but for the time being I'm happy. Once again, this is typically a move that should not have occurred to him, and reason being is that this is his good bishop and this is his bad one, and the only reason why it's actually a bit of a problem for me, because after bishop takes, queen takes, this is hanging. But on the other hand, as I said before, the knight is misplaced on c5. Actually, I shouldn't be even thinking about this. I just take, it takes back, rook e1, and these knights are just doing nothing at all. And now my f5 is very, very close to be ready to go. Maybe rook f2, queen d4. Yeah, I don't know. I will see. It is also very tricky to develop the bishop, because the only square it can go to is d7, which is actually just taking away the knight's retreat. So if I hit the knight, it can't go back, and it never wants to go to e6 because f5. Yeah, I love my position here. I don't know how this game is going to end, but this is basically one of the ultimate positions that you play this system for. So you are dreaming about something like this when you play this line. Easy playing the center, easy playing the king side, and your opponent is just sitting there scratching their heads thinking, I haven't made one single mistake, why am I struggling? See, another example of confusion. b6 wants to develop the bishop here, but I wanted to put this rook on f2 anyway to cover up my second rank. So let's do that. I'm looking also at f5, whether it's already possible or not. I'm very tempted to be aggro, or knight h5. I'm looking at those moves already, because I'm really, really keen on finishing it off. Yeah, let's go knight h5. I'm not in a hurry to move this rook up. I will wait for him to force me to go to a better square. So the plan with knight h5 is that now I may be able to threaten with f5, rook e5, and then queen g5, and mate can only be parried with major damage, self-inflicted. Look at the time. It's also very telling that he is struggling here. But truth to be told, this guy is playing probably better chess than most of my inside my head opponents insofar. Which is good because really the better quality the game, the more stuff. Well, that's not necessarily true, but this way I can talk about quality variations and quality plans as opposed to just, you know, easing through. Now actually there is a disadvantage of disconnecting my rooks at home, and that is that after f5, rook e5, my rook is going to hang, so I won't be able to play queen g5, which is a bit of a problem. No biggie, but now I need to engineer a decent plan about how I'm going to execute my f5 plan without allowing this check. So I expect him to play rook a8 because nothing else makes sense. There we go. And now it's thinking time. I'm still looking at f5, but I can't make it work, which is a bit of a source of frustration, really. And queen d4, knight e6, and then I would have loved to drop back after f2, but I can't because my rook is in my way. Maybe I needed to go with my rook to f3. I don't know. I'm second guessing and doubting myself, and in fact, yeah, this may not have been a great idea, because if I had started with rook f2 after bishop a6, of course I could have gone this way, which would have been far more attractive than having the knight on h5. Interesting stuff. Now, do I have anything here? Knight g7, king takes pawn f5. King drops back, queen h6, rook g8 doesn't look sound. And I don't really want to play bishop f1, because I need that bishop to cover e4 and a few other things. What shall we do? Knight e2, knight d4. No, knight e2, knight e4, bishop takes, pawn takes is a bit of a concern. I mean, knight on c3 is definitely a piece that could be considered to be removed or replaced or improved upon, but for the time being I'm just not seeing where it should go yet. Yeah, all my talk about this one being an easy position and easy plans and blah blah seems to be now not the case. And I'm losing on time too. And I'm also feeling like I'm missing something very obvious. Okay, after f5, take, queen g... oh no, f6 right away. What can they do? g6, queen h6, knight e6. Surely I have a win there. Knight f4. Or knight g7. Okay, I'm losing on time. I will try this. I'm not sure if it's sound at all. But my policy is that when there's nothing better, go forward. Sadly, after rook takes, I don't have this queen g5 anymore because my rook is hanging with check. It's so disappointing. which wasn't the case when my rook was still at home, but yeah, it's a bit of a wishful thinking, so there's not much point in going on and on and on about it. Okay, so rook takes, queen takes, and after queen here, he simply plays rook e8, and I can't dislodge this queen from e5 because rook e2 is met by bishop e2, and I can't find any other means of attacking this queen. I'm super duper upset. So yeah, rook takes f6 is all I have. We'll see how good it is. Or how not good it is. So what I'm expecting now is rook takes, queen takes f6, g6, queen h6, and knight e6. That's the variation I'm looking at now. And I think it actually loses to knight f4, queen takes, knight d5. And then knight f6 check. Even that is iffy, because queen g7. Oh, I will figure that out. I think I can pinch a few pawns there. I can hurt him quite badly. But he seems to be spending a lot of time on this position. I mean, I don't think that he has got anything else than rook takes. If he allows me to play queen g5 next, he's dead. Oopsies. I would not really appreciate if we went down like that. Thank you. Okay, so let's see what's happening now. It doesn't feel right to me, by the way, because somehow I don't even have a threat. Maybe d4 is strong here. Although then I take and he can't take me because of the pin. But somehow I just feel like I lost the right thread to follow through with this attack. Although I have to say that these pieces are all tucked away on the queen side still give a reasonable hope to me that this attack is going to break through. So the two moves I would be considering here mostly for black are knight e6 and g6. And on g6 I wanted to play queen h6, knight e6. And that's where I was a bit stuck for IDs, because I was really keen on dislocating that knight. Removing rather would be a better way to put it. Actually, that's quite tricky, because if I play knight f4, he has queen g5, forcing the queens off. That is very interesting. Well, it looks like the queens are coming off after all, unless I don't take it right away. Should I take with knight? Pawn is more tempting because it seems to cause a fair bit of trouble. But is the trouble realistic? Nay, I will go in like this. Queen check, takes, king h2, rook c1. Whoa! We don't want that. So I would rather not invite that rook into my camp, but that means that... no, actually this was better, because now the rook is hanging. If I could somehow use this rook on the e file, I would be such a hero. But I can't. Okay, I want to retreat this to f5 to pretend some threats. And I might crank it open if he moves on something like rook c1. This may work. Or actually bishop first, rather. I played that move rather fast, I might regret it. But no, I don't think so actually. I don't think it's fine because if rook e5 I have got checks and then h4 following it up. Whoa, that on the other hand looked like an auto loss. So I just take and then check and then rook e2 taking over the e5 seems deadly. That was bad. That was really bad by him, but he feels under time pressure, which I can't really argue with. But this should be game over here because rook e7 and that drops. Yeah, that's GG here. So rook c1, rook in, rook takes check, king up, and he falls apart. I didn't understand this. Oh, he wants to take maybe? Check wins. What? Okay. Yeah, this is over. Pawn up, pawn up, pawn up, queen. I've got 5 queens incoming. So now he's either allowing queen or he's allowing mate next. GG. Alright, well that was gentlemanly of him to allow me to take back my move. It was nowhere near as easy as I wanted it to be. I will offer him a rematch, which will probably not give me an opportunity to analyze. No, it will give me an opportunity to analyze this game. Okay, that was interesting. So, back to the opening. The opening worked out really beautifully for me, or so I felt. So, in this position, I think I may have misplayed this a little bit. I allowed the c5 business and the bishop c5 business as well, and I don't think there was anything wrong with it. So actually I think I'm fine here. Now I opted for take, which I think is okay. Because I think the knight on c5 is actually misplaced. Rook e1, I think it's good. b6. Maybe prophylaxis was called for here. Maybe this knight h5 was a bit dodge. And instead I should have played rook f2 right away. Oh, please give me analysis board. Thank you. I said thank you. And if bishop a6 now, then knight f5. And knight d6 is, yeah, just too much to bear. Yeah, this is it. So here I got a little bit too carried away, thinking that knight h5 granted me a winning attack. Now the reason why I went silent is because I'm curious to see if this is total nonsense or I could have done it. So the idea is that if bishop takes f1, I go queen. Actually, even knight f6 check is possible. Queen here. Yeah, I think I should have done this actually. This looks really, really good. And if here, well, knight f6 check looks, yeah, winning on the spot. So yeah, that's it, check. Worst comes to worst, I take this, I take back on here, and I have got an irresistible attack. Wow! So actually, it may have been the case that I played everything perfect until here, and I just missed the opportunity, which was the whole point of playing knight h5, to push f5 in with the intention of the attack. And if rook takes, then queen here, and that's what I was talking about in the game, that I couldn't do this because this rook was hanging with check. And now f6 is not possible because of knight takes. And if g6, then queen f6 wins this rook for starters. But potentially because of the mate. Yeah, like just as an example variation, takes, bishop takes, and rook e7, and mate, and queen is hanging, the game is over. Wow! Oh my god. I can't believe I played this. I wonder how much time I spent on it actually. None. So, yeah. I wouldn't be happy if I was my own student now, because f5 here, I mean, look at that king. Like, it literally has no guards whatsoever. It's begging for getting destroyed. It's begging for it, and I didn't do it. Such a lame move. Like, literally up to this point, I didn't need to think over one single move. I mean, okay, knight h5 was... yeah, whether you like it or not, up to you. Pity. And apparently, according to computer's analysis, it's actually worse. Now, I would like to point out very kindly to you, though, that even though, according to the computer analysis, I was all the way ahead, well, not way ahead, sorry, on top all the time, it's a slight edge, but the point is that you don't have such analysis available to you when you play the game, and trust me when I tell you this, it's very unpleasant to play. Computer doesn't know such things as unpleasant. It plays the position because it's programmed to. Humans have feelings, and those feelings affect the way how they play. So apparently f5 was a blunder. Okay, so apparently g6 was best, and after queen h6, knight e6, it's survivable. So once again, this is very non-human to think like this. I was actually thinking about after g6, what was I saying? Probably something nonsensical. Yeah, that was dodgy. I think my play for the remainder of the game is not worthy of really talking about in detail because it was not up to the quality I wanted it to be. What I really want to mention is that I think it was a really well conducted game up to this point where I failed to spot these very basic tactics that you just ignore the rook being under attack and after takes queen g5. Happy days. If f6, knight takes, and we take that with a tempo so we can retake on here. Like clockwork it works. So annoying that I missed this. Oh my lord. Knight takes, queen g5. f6, knight takes. How does this one work? King here. Oh man. This is not even funny. Yeah, this would have been a really cool way to finish it off. So once again, I'm not saying that this opening is something magical or something that will earn you easy victories all the time, but it's a setup that you can use against the Philidor as well as some of the Pirc setups as well, and even against the Czech opening after knight c3. If they play c6, a4, you can use it against that too with quite ease. So yeah, I reckon this is a line that is well worth studying a bit and investing some energy into, because you might very well find yourself a variation where you score very easy wins if you actually play proper moves like f5. Bang. Alrighty folks, that's it. That was the next episode of Bring It On Baby, also known as Inside My Head. And I would like to thank my opponent for being a gentleman, because somewhere around here I accidentally mouse slipped and I put my queen on e2, actually right here, which wasn't that bright. So I hope that that was a good lesson for us about this line, about how to conduct this kingside attack, and in general about how to play decent chess. And if you liked it, please don't forget to like or whatever things you can do on YouTube. And I hope you will be for the next video too. Thanks for watching. Bye.